Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I hope you're doing well today. I've got quite a personal video today because it's something that I've honestly very recently learnt not to do, and I've recently been burnt from or learnt from. Navigating relationships is hard, and there's always that kind of fight within, I think, all of us, which is like, should I get back into dating and be vulnerable and take a risk and potentially get hurt, or potentially, you know, create and cultivate a great relationship with somebody? Or do I just not bother whatsoever because I just want to avoid the negatives that come with dating? But I have kind of come to the realization that if you feel ready to date, if you feel ready to go out there, and if you feel like your body is pushing you to do that, do it, because it will take several people and it will take several circumstances to realise what you want and to cherry pick with different people what you're looking for. It's a whole ritual. Dating is an entire process, and you're learning what you like, what you don't like, what you're going to tolerate, and what you refuse to settle on. And dating in that way, it might hurt or it might suck at times, but it's beneficial because you're learning what your standards are and what your limits are, and that is so valuable. Today's video is all about refusing to settle, and that really comes from doing the work. With every single person that you interact with, it's going to be a lesson. You're going to learn something from it, positive or negative. I think about the people that I've dated, and there are positives and negatives that I can take from every single one of them. I can think of what I really liked about the person and what I want to kind of like have within a sort of partner eventually, and then the things that I'm like, no, I am not settling for that. And sometimes when you date new people, or you know, the next person comes along, you sometimes think, oh, I really like that about that past person, but I'm so grateful about this particular aspect of the current person that I'm dating. So it really is cherry picking what you like. And I think dating is probably one of the only ways you're going to know what your standards are. When you date somebody, they show a mirror to you, and they present a mirror to you and reflect back to you what you do and do not like. That only comes with actually facing people. You might not necessarily be able to like garner the detail of information that you need to know. Okay, this is what I'm not tolerating, and this is what I love in a partner eventually. With each person you interact with, you're learning more about yourself and your standards and what you like and don't like, and therefore dating is beneficial because you're learning more about yourself and what you want. I think a lot of people don't know what they want, and that's the problem. Dating, or just learning about yourself, taking a deep dive into yourself in collaboration with dating as well, can really help you land on what you're looking for, and from that then you know what you're not going to settle on. The first thing I really want to tell you is that if someone cannot see your value, walk away. There is no point trying to convince somebody of your value, because you are going to cause resentment on both sides. Not only are you going to resent them because they're not showing up for you in the way that you deserve, but they're also going to resent you because they feel as though you're trying to force them into being the person that you want by pointing out things that they don't do. And as much as it's so frustrating because you might see some positive things in somebody, you've got to resist the temptation to try and change somebody. You don't try and change somebody, it just doesn't work. Just move on. If they can't show up for you in the right way at the right time, then it's time to move on. They might do in the future, but it's not up to you to wait around until they get to that point, and it's certainly not up to you to try and change them. Take people as they are and move on, and find somebody who will be the person you need, because it's not going to be found in this person. You've got to take people where they're at, and sometimes that means walking away. You shouldn't be having to teach people how to treat you. I think there's merit to teaching people how to love you in specific ways. For example, you know, telling them your love language. But I think teaching them how to treat you, don't even try. They can't show up for themselves, let alone you, in the way that you deserve. So I would just leave that where it is. And I think this takes a lot of honesty with yourself. You've got to be really honest with what you think you're settling for, because I think this is where I tripped up. I could see all these great qualities about this person, and I was like, you know, I'm really attracted to this, this and this and this, and they've been so much better than like so many other people that I dated by miles, that I was kind of like second guessing myself, being like, yeah, but they do all these great things, there are a few things that I'm compromising on if I'm being honest, and things that do bother me. But because of all these great qualities, you know, it's worth it for me to stay. Don't do it. There's somebody out there who will give you everything that you're looking for. Every single one of your unnegotiables, they will provide for, they will tick off. You don't have to settle. You really don't. I don't know what it is with this society that tells us that we have to settle. I mean, they don't explicitly say that, but they give us this messaging that, you know, we should be kind of lucky to, especially as someone that dates men, we are often told that we're basically lucky if they do basic things, because the bar for men in general is very, very low. That's not men's fault, but equally, men do have a duty to understand that and then work on being somebody that women, men, whoever are going to want. Going back to this sort of lacking mindset, we can have everything that we want. Just because there are so many people out there that do not show up for you in the way that you deserve, that does not mean that there is nobody out there that will. It's just that it happens to be that the people that you've met, and probably, you know, it's often about age. Sometimes people grow with time, and, you know, as we get older, generally speaking, although not reliable, people get more mature as they get older, and they get more worldly wide and understand other people's struggles, and therefore learn to grow and learn to be wanted rather than, generally speaking, needed. And people learn what they need to do to show up for somebody, and what they need to do to, like, how they need to work on themselves to be deserving of someone of high quality. You've got to have that faith that simply by sticking to your standards, you're raising your vibration to meet with those people that are of that standard, and rejecting people or discarding people that do not adhere to those standards, even if it's just like one thing that like bothers you. It doesn't matter. It's pointless staying with somebody that causes anxiety in you, that causes resentment, that causes that sort of gut feeling of like, this doesn't feel right. There's no point staying there. You're kind of like elongating the suffering that you're going to experience. Your standards are your best like compass in navigating dating, because by sticking to those standards, you're going to manifest, you're going to find that person who's right for you a lot quicker. I do understand that people who bring a lot to the table do struggle with dating a lot more because they have those standards for themselves. It's important not to get disheartened. You know that person's out there. You've got to believe that person's out there, and it's literally a matter of time, and it's literally a matter of you using your standards as a guide to arrive at that person that's right for you. You've got to be really honest with what feels right in your body. And if you feel as though you're compromising on something, it will be hard, but you've got to move on, and you've got to have faith that you can find better, because you can. The person that is right for you will know exactly how to love you, exactly how to treat you. It will just be so natural and so fluid. This is again where I kind of tripped up, because I was like, this person's so close to being right for me, but not quite. And I was thinking to myself, you know, it's just the one thing or one or two things that are kind of other people would probably be more comfortable with or would find perhaps more trivial, but no, I can't do it. And I just knew that by staying in the space of that person, it would only make me uncomfortable, and it wasn't going to bode well for the future, because I thought, and I'm already feeling uncomfortable, how is that going to change in the future? It's just probably not, especially when you speak things through with people and they can't see your sort of where you're coming from. It's like flogging a dead horse. There's just no point. It's worth just moving on, leaving it, and refusing to settle on something that frankly doesn't feel good. Your standards are loosely based on what you bring to the table. And I think this is where a lot of people often miss the trick. I see people on TikTok, YouTube, getting very frustrated with people because they seem like they're demanding a lot, or their standards are extremely high. The reason why people's standards are high is because they know what they bring to the table. People are unlikely to, and if they are, fair enough, it doesn't make sense, but most people who have high standards have those high standards because they have those standards for themselves. If you're someone who is able to emotionally nourish themselves, who takes an interest in therapy or self-development, someone who can cook, clean, you know, do their household stuff, be independent, has a lot of ambition, is motivated, you can also command someone who has all of those things too. There are, especially, I'm just gonna say it, like women out there that ask for a lot from a man, But the people that get mad about that are the people that wouldn't be able to sort of fulfill that person. Like, the people that could don't get mad about it. That is why it's a really good indicator when someone does get mad about standards that you're asking for. You can kind of gauge, well, they probably can't show up for me in the way that I deserve. Because personally for me, I would not ask somebody of something, I would not command something of somebody that I couldn't first of all give myself or provide for somebody else. Your standards are very based on what you can provide and what you would give to a partner, and it's up to that person to demonstrate to you that they can do the same and that they could reciprocate that. There are men, women, like NBs out there who will show up for you and themselves in the exact same way that you do. Like, what's the point of settling? Like, what is the actual point? Like, when you think about it, you've got to remove your ego from the situation and your desire to be kind of with somebody from the situation. And once you do that, you really won't bother settling, because you're thinking to yourself, they're either going to add something to my life or that's it. Like, they're not going to cause a burden. I'm not having somebody in my life that makes my life worse and makes me feel worse. You've got to go for people that complement your life, that add something to your life. They should be giving you more than you give yourself. What I try and do is put myself in a position where I think, if my friend came to me with the issues that I'm experiencing now with this person, how would I advise? How would I react? And when you think of it like that, when you take yourself out of the subjective and put yourself in a more objective point of view, like a fly on the wall. I did this practice and I was like, what am I doing? And I just thought to myself, I would have advised myself probably from the first date or whatever, no, there's better suited for you out there. When you put yourself in that objective position and talk to yourself as if you're like advising a friend, it really grounds you, it really humbles you, and it really puts things into perspective, because you're like, what am I doing? Like, I need to move on and this is not right for me. It is actually a really powerful exercise. The way I see it is like, if I have to love myself less in order to be with you, I'm good. Like, if I have to compromise my mental health and my nervous system being calm, if I have to betray myself in order to be with you or date you, it's a no from me. It makes no sense. Sticking to your standards and not settling is a testament to how much you love yourself and how much you are determined to trust yourself and be kind to yourself. Because staying with somebody or continuing to date somebody who encourages you not to love yourself is a betrayal. It is self-sabotage, and the only way that you're going to find what you're really looking for and what you deserve is sitting in the discomfort of walking away from somebody that would ordinarily mean that you would be less loving of yourself in order to be with them. You deserve better. You deserve somebody who encourages you to love yourself, encourages you to admire yourself and look after yourself and be kind to yourself. There is no point staying with somebody that lowers your vibration. You know, you're setting the standard and people will follow that, and you're only going to contribute to people being happier and being more fulfilled. And I think that's great. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I really enjoyed filming this one. It's something that I do feel really passionate about, and something that has been a really big part of my journey as a sort of young adult. And something that, you know, yeah, is a big chunk of my life and something that I've really had to work on and heal from. So I hope that you took some value from this. Please sound out in the comments about what you think about this topic, about not settling, sticking to your standards. And with that, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.